What's up, creatives? Welcome to the Tiffy Show. Today I'm going to talk about, should relationships be easy? If you haven't, make sure that you turn on notifications so that you know when I post a video. I like to post about dating, travel, investing, lifestyle, and everything in between. So if that's your jam, hit that subscribe button and let's get to it. Should relationships be easy? There comes a point in a new relationship where the honeymoon period wears off. Everything that was super cute might start to be a little annoying to you sometimes, but does that mean that the relationship is doomed? Of course not. All that initial magic has just become a different type of magic, a settled in, comfy magic. And you can still have a strong relationship knowing that. I know that I love a beginning of a relationship, but I definitely love the part where you're very comfortable with each other and you don't have to, play this part of this like super cool person, or, I'm always this cute. Like, you can finally put the sweatpants on, like that kind of situation. With all that being said, should relationships be easy? And my answer is yes and no. And we're going to get into that. And the reason that I say that is because I know that there's a lot of people watching this video that are in relationships that are very hard. Like, they are putting in work and they're like, oh my, if I say that relationship should be hard, they're gonna be like, yes, Tiffy said relationships should be hard, I should stay here. No, like, you could be in a toxic relationship, and I don't want you to think that that's how relationships go. So that is why I'm saying that relationships should be hard and easy. And that sounded weird, but bear with me. Easy, the process of getting a relationship. The dating to get a relationship should be easy, should be smooth, should flow. And what I mean by that is there shouldn't be games, there shouldn't be some weird ghosting situation. The whole process is going to feel like perfect. Like, not perfect, but it's going to feel smooth. There's no bumpy roads when you're heading to a healthy relationship. And this is when people say, oh my God, like, I don't know, I just randomly met him and now he's my boyfriend, or yeah, like, I was single but now she's my girlfriend. Like, when things happen really fast for people, it's usually because it flowed. It was easy in the beginning. They were texting, they met each other, they had a great date, they had another great date, there was no games in between, there was no ghosting for 3 months and then popping up later. It was just like a very smooth, easy transition. So that's what I mean by a relationship should be easy in this point, because getting the relationship should flow. It shouldn't be a forced thing. If you have to force anything in the beginning, it's a red flag. You probably just should stay single. But if everything is running smoothly, they like you, you like them, when you meet someone and you're spending time with them and it's healthy, you don't want to date other people and you want to become exclusive. And I think that a lot of people deal with so many like boys and lame girls and whatever, that they forget that you can have a smooth transition to a relationship. And I would suggest that you wait for that smooth transition, because that's the easy part. Hard, different personalities. You are two different people. You are going to have different personalities. Of course, you can have similarities, but in having different personalities and different life experiences, you're going to bring that to the table, and there's going to be disagreements. That's okay. Disagreements help you grow. They help you become a more open person, and they also introduce you to new experiences that you might not have, seen otherwise. It's okay to have different personalities. It might be hard in the beginning, especially if, say, you are super bougie and you like your spa days, and maybe she or he likes to camp all the time. Like, that might be different for you, but then you might experience camping for the first time, see that you like it, and be like, hey, this wasn't as bad as I thought. If I never met this person, I wouldn't have known. You don't want to date a person that is exactly like you, that never has disagreements. That is actually more toxic than dating someone that just, don't always have the same opinion on things, because you don't grow if you're dating a carbon copy of yourself. That is not how you want to do this. You want to date someone that makes you better, that helps you expand, that makes you, awesome sauce, whatever you want to say, but you want to deal with the different personalities and just go through that process, and that might be a little bit hard, but the growth is great. Disclaimer, when I say different personalities, know yourself. I do not mean that my boyfriend is a racist and my girlfriend likes to key my car every weekend. That is not disagreements that are normal. That is a toxic relationship. I'm talking about normal disagreements over maybe what you want to watch on Netflix, and then, talking about it. But if it's very extreme, this is not where I'm putting that in. That's a totally different video. That's toxic. Easy. Compromise. It's a little hard, but I gotta put another easy thing in here, which I'll just put compromise. Compromising is part of the game. I find that compromising means that one person always wins a little bit more. Like, is true compromising a real thing? Like, in order for you to even have a situation where you're compromising on something, that means that someone wants something that you don't, and the compromise is that you'll probably give it to them a little bit. It's easy because in relationships, what you learn is you get to win some of the compromises too. So it's an equal exchange of winning compromises. So they win a compromise and you win a compromise, and you call it compromise. But the cool thing is you are going to deal with this, but it will become easier, and it's not the hardest part because, like I mentioned, you are going to win some too. So my example is if you are an introvert, you don't like people, but you're with a girlfriend that has family get-togethers every single weekend and her family is huge, that is something that you will have to, encounter sometimes and that you'll have to do because that is a compromise. And then she might, watch some video game tournament with you or something that's probably out of her realm, but she'll do it for you because she loves you and she cares about you. So compromising should be the easy part in a relationship. You don't want to be in a relationship with someone that only has it their way all of the time. That's toxic, but compromising can be an easy thing to add to a healthy relationship. All right, and to my last point, the hardest one, which is what I always say, communication. Communication is going to be the hardest part, and I say that, you think, oh my God, communication is not that hard, but think about how many times you didn't say what was on your mind when you should have just said it and it would have solved a whole bunch of stuff and stopped an argument from happening. You have to have open communication in your relationship, and it will be hard, but if you get through it, it'll ultimately make a very healthy relationship. In having open communication, you have to a lot of times set your ego aside and realize that you are not a perfect human being. You are not the perfect aspect of this relationship, and everything that they do is making it hard. You have to realize you both are coming together to make this work, and that you have some issues that you need to work on and they have some issues that they need to work on, but by communicating, you get through that. And the longer that you are together and the more that you work at this, because communication is a constant thing that you will always have to work on. I know old couples that have to work on communication. As long as you're putting that time in to make it work, you will have a healthy relationship. But I say that this is the hardest one because just communicating in general, clearly getting your feelings across, not keeping stuff built like deep down inside of you is hard. So work on your communication. These are the points of why I think a relationship is both hard and easy, but ultimately it should be easy at its core with hard moments. And you need to be able to get over those and realize that ultimately this relationship makes you happy or enhances your, confidence. That person makes you feel good. If you leave arguments, disagreements, and you're always feeling sad or depressed or heavy, or you feel like you are working towards this relationship is so hard, I'm working so hard at this, then you need to really step back for a second and think about if this relationship is meant for you. Because as I mentioned, they should be hard because you are opening up yourself, you are reflecting, you are dealing with another person that you don't know what they're thinking all of the time. But it should never be hard to the point where it's bringing down your self-esteem, it's making you sad all of the time, it's making you, go into your feelings and cut off friends and things like that. No, that is not a positive, hard relationship. That is a negative, toxic relationship. You want an easy, hard relationship, which is just a normal relationship. And at the core of everything, you get over them, you have love for each other, you have positivity, and the good days outweigh the bad days. That is a healthy relationship, and that is why I think they are easy hard. And as my parents say, if you forget everything else in this video, a relationship should be easy in the beginning, and it gets harder later in life. And that's only because life throws curveballs at us all, and you're going to deal with stuff that is going to, be hard for you as a couple. But if you have that love in the beginning, you have that foundation to get through the harder stuff later in life, and you will have a healthy relationship. But just keep in mind that you want it to be easy in the beginning. The beginning's the part you look back on and you're like, man, do you remember when we were young? It was so easy. And later in life, you deal with like taxes and kid, that kind of stuff. So that's just a little tidbit. Those are my thoughts on if I think a relationship should be easy. If you enjoyed this video, make sure that you share, like, subscribe, and comment below, and let me know if you feel a relationship should be hard or easy, and I will see you next time. Stay creative.